I'm doing a video today on my channel and some of the content on it. Patrick Penry sent me a Skype message, and he basically said something a lot of people are aware of if you're following things. There is a lot of money being spent by the Pentagon to co-opt Patriot groups or liberty groups or people trying to speak about the truth. And the sad fact of the matter is that this was happening during the fall of the democratic society in ancient Greece 2,000 years ago. 3/4 of the population was working for the government, and ultimately the superpower of the ancient empire of Greece was not destroyed from the outside. It was destroyed from within. There are stories you can watch on Discovery Channel about voting being rigged in ancient Greece. They used to break off a clay pot and cast it, and that was their vote. They found 2,000 years later these broken cups found in wells, where people were rigging elections and trying to hide the votes. And certainly, if you've watched my channel and Caliber Hitter's channel and Glenn's channel, we've gone out there, and a lot of people who are pretty technically savvy are pretty impressed. We found the shills, quote unquote, in the quote unquote truth movement, the quote unquote Patriot movement, that are being funded by the National Reconnaissance Office and the Pentagon. We put documents out there, and Alex Jones has even had to confirm, and I can't bash on him 100%, that the Pentagon is funding people to not only go on YouTube and chat, but the Pentagon has come out and issued documents saying that they're going to have bots spamming accounts on YouTube. So we have cases where artificial intelligence bots are going out there and posting stuff on there. And the one thing that you always see is that they use for their talking point is, you are batshit crazy. And they will never, especially with bots, they don't have to address the issues. They can just make personal attacks all day long. So, last year, the Bilderberg meeting, this quote-unquote secret Bilderberg meeting with the National Reconnaissance Office, where they planned the wars for profit, was in Chantilly, Virginia. I drove out to a campground. Alex Jones also confirmed, which I already knew, we were being stalked by people in black Jaguars, private contractors, and all kinds of stuff. He's come out and openly admitted that. The one or two things that I bash Alex Jones for, and he has not blocked me on any of his channels. So despite all the, quote unquote Alex Jones bashing, he has not blocked me on any of his channels. I think he blocked me from InfoWars for a while. Now I'm unblocked. And why he came out and said that Adam Kokesh was arrested in Maryland, why he was arrested in Virginia, I don't know. It's suspicious. It looks like he's covering for Adam Kokesh. We've caught Adam Kokesh on 10 or 15 talking points, and he's not even listed in being in a federal prison. The list goes on, with the most recent development being suspicious observers being linked to the entertainment company and California media production company E3, also linked with the Pentagon for making those little first-person shooter games. It's just absolutely astounding. And time again, people who have been watching this and are quietly coming out are saying that this is being funded by the Pentagon. They have Pentagon bots spamming channels, and they're driving viewership up a few thousand views just to wear in channels. A channel is you can kind of attribute it to deer hunting, where deer make a pathway through the woods, and they just wear down that path, and pretty soon people are walking through that trail and everything. And it's the same thing with YouTube. They can wear in them channels just like a TV channel, and not only that, they can go out and quote unquote use analytics to find channels for you to watch. In most cases with my channels, it's people with 300 views and they have similar content, but it may be somebody with 10,000 views. And like Nart Troll Dice over at Camp Pendleton. So Patrick Penry saying, who can you trust? And I've had discussions with the former InfoWars insider, and I say I don't trust somebody. For the most part, I trust Caliber Hitters. He's friendly. But for the most part, I trust Nuke Wars. He's pretty friendly. I trust Sherry Lee, although not with my life because she believes in reincarnation, but I think she's generally a good person. She's got her animals. And, I even trust Alex Jones enough to listen for 10 or 15 minutes, 1 or 2 days a week. I don't know what the other stuff is going on. I've made calls and left messages. I think I know what it is. And you know what? Alex Jones is just a person. He makes mistakes just like the rest of us. He's even come out publicly and said, sometimes he comes out and walks right off the porch. And you know what? I'm going to agree with that. But, on the same account, he's done a lot of strange things that it's setting off my radar. So after the Bilderberg meeting last year, I said a couple times, we need our own private event. Ron Paul's been running what's called LPAC. LPAC stands for the Liberty Political Action Committee. It's not about being a libertarian, it's about liberty. They've got private groups in each states. I know all the people that meet here. They seem like fine, decent people. This one person who's been coming up, he's got a facelift and a teeth job. His name is Daniel Bongino. He's a former Secret Service insider. He's saying all the right words. He's not polished, but he's setting off my radar a little bit, because if he was too close to this inner circle, he's probably working for him. That being said, I've gone up to a couple Secret Service agents and talked to them because I live in Maryland. They seem pretty friendly. Some of them genuinely seem concerned in their heart about the country. And, like my family who worked in government, they're probably just doing their job. And, I think they probably have their limits as to what they'll put up with. But, for the most part, they're just working bomb detection or whatever and trying to do their job. And a lot of the stuff that we're aware of usually happens behind the scenes. Believe me, if they're having a meeting between Obama and Hillary Clinton, they're not going to invite 20 Secret Service members to come in and watch TV while they get murdered in a fake raid on Osama bin Laden's compound. But I have, in addition to the Bilderberg protest, I have about 10 or 12 videos up at the LPAC meeting. Most of the speakers, like Mike Lee, were very intelligent. You can listen to what they have to say. The main key here is not whether or not you like Ron Paul or you believe he's a shill. You need to listen to these people, see what they're saying, and see what you agree with, and then decide if you want to vote. The elections are heavily rigged, but you definitely don't want to vote for somebody like Barbara Feinstein. The only thing where Ron Paul fell short was that he was talking about he wanted to cut entitlements. So there was no talk about cutting or restructuring the military. It was just about cutting entitlements. Entitlements, are people who, for the most part, paid in the system, like our military people, and need to buy food and stuff like that. There's a few people who abuse the system and they get daycare and all this other stuff, housing, free Medicare, and it probably does add up to be quite a large amount by the time the tab rolls up. That being said, the liberty movement is not subverted. It's that these people that are aware that people are waking up and trying to get people who are just waking up on the tit of somebody who's been subverted into the truth movement, maybe a former washed up actor, and they will put them out there as a libertarian like Adam Kokestash, having smoking dope, and talk about cock and rifles, say 5 minutes of something intelligent, and try to get people signed up for that. More and more people are waking up and they don't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to put myself out there and say unequivocally you should trust me 100%, because I've been watching what's been happening in the last year, documented what 22 caliber hitters. I know all these people somewhat behind the scenes. It's just absolutely astounding the amount of money that's being pumped into it. We talked to a former CIA insider. He said this is all being done through the auspicions of the NDAA, which they got $100 million or some small measly sum to go out there in Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan. You could check up the funding for media productions in the Middle East. They're funneling media production money for the Middle East into the military, using it to subvert a Patriot or a truth movement in the United States, because they know people are waking up to the political corruptness, and they want to subvert that. They want to keep the war contracts going. They want to keep bombing these countries. You know, it almost seems like they want to start a war with China and Russia. They're totally unprepared for that, and it just goes on and on and on. And the best thing we can do as Americans is talk to each other, get the word out there that, you know, we're tired of paying for these wars for profit and running up the deficit to $16 trillion with these phony fake politicians born overseas. They're not even real Americans. They're most part communist educated. I mean, I'm going to say it as mad as all the other people that come on the Alex Jones show, like Webster Tarpley and the others, and say they're communist educated. They have a socialist agenda. They want to get you in Medicare. They want to get you in a nursing home. They want to bleed your family for every nickel and dime they got, so you're poor and you have no other chance to live in a government building. And they've already bulldozed all the government buildings in Baltimore. They're a disgrace compared to communist public housing. Is like a luxury apartment compared to the Section 8 housing that we have in states like Baltimore, New York, Chicago, Miami, Detroit, and LA. It's a disgrace. You know, people would be better off living in a communist country than in socialist housing in the United States. And Kennedy even said it 50 years ago. We spent an arm and a leg, and Reagan said it, we spent an arm and a leg for public housing, and by the time people get in there, there's still people living out on the street. It's unbelievable. You know, so who can you trust? For the most part, if you are a Christian or God-fearing person and you're working to change things, and you know you're a decent person and you're not snorting an 8-ball of coke, reporting to a CIA handler every day, you yourself are trustworthy. Go out and talk to people. Listen to people like Ron Paul. Analyze what they have to say. Are they saying the right thing? Are they doing the right thing? 99% of the time, when a bill came up, Ron Paul voted for it. He voted no. So you can't all go out there and say Ron Paul is a shill when Ron Paul voted no. Now, Rand Paul is a different story. Everybody, and even Rand Paul himself, came out in a video and said he's not his father. He's been questioned remotely about signing these secret papers. He said, I don't have anything to say about it. So either he's afraid to talk about it, or he signed the papers and he doesn't want to talk about it. Until Rand Paul's been in office for a while, he's held up his voting record, and he talks the talk and walks the walk. He's going to be under the scrupulation of the quote-unquote truth movement and the Patriot movement to see what's going on. Painscourt, I have a good idea who this character is. We're constantly digging up these people. He's a working class man. He's got a family and kids. They got an air conditioner shoved in the window of the kitchen like I got at my mom's house, and ain't nobody saving money is going to shove an air conditioner in a kitchen window. It's crazy, because every fall you got to take that out, put it in the garage, clean it. Every spring you got to put it back in. It would be so much simpler to have a nice house with central air conditioning. But that guy's working. He says in his videos he's a blue collar worker, which I believe in. My family's blue collar workers or working class. We don't have a lot of money. We have to save it and figure out what we're going to do. In most part, like Painscourt's family, I have to work doing this, that, and the other thing around the house to save it. His wife said that if you spend $150 a day on a housekeeper, at the end of the year, that's $50,000. Who's got that kind of money to spend? Even if they're a millionaire, and I'm not, I don't know who's got that kind of money to spend. Go push that vacuum yourself. Save yourself the money. I got other videos up, how to fix a trap on a sink. I wouldn't be doing any of this stupid, ridiculous stuff if I had the money. I've got some quote-unquote prepping videos up, but that's my opinion on it. I got one more video up, and that was the thing that upset me the most, was the ammo purchases for the wrong types of ammo for government agencies. Why are government agencies ordering ammo that only the Secret Service or Navy SEALs shoot in large numbers? There's been all kinds of Department of Homeland Security and congressional oversight committees on it. They've been caught robbing the government, cheating the government. Bob, Drinking with Bob's got some videos up. He's probably trustworthy. He's saying, why do they just get a slap on the hands? They should get life in prison. I tell you what, if they got jail time for defrauding the federal government, this shit would stop real soon. Excuse my language. It would stop real soon. So that's all I have to say is, at my heart, I don't think, and it's easy for me to say because it's me saying it, I think it would be easy to just get up and walk away from all this mess. And if you realize, it's like living in a filthy, dirty house and the sink's leaking and it's everything dirty and you're going to sit there and not do anything about it. How can you sit in your house when all this crap's going on in our country and not say a word? I got all the articles I just mentioned. Everybody's got their own thing. Patrick Penry likes to talk about Fukushima. Caliber Hitters likes to talk about Ajax Loans' Shill Hicks and expose Adam Koch stash. Hell Wars is pretty interesting. He wants to have an intelligent discussion about what you're talking about because he's there to take it all in. He knows it's not just one problem. It's a whole cornucopia of problems we're facing in America. And, people crack on Painscourt for a long time. He was a El Luchador Enmascarado. He was a professional out there. He knows this stuff is going on. And he talks about a wide range of issues. Part of the being El Luchador Enmascarado is being a heel, playing the part of an insane person. And he does that in the video. But trust me, Painscourt is not insane. You go watch his videos, listen to him, post comments. And everybody who's out there, watch a video, do some research on who that person is. Is their parents living in a $500,000 house with a Humvee parked in the yard, and they're getting quote unquote meetings to confront people like Zbigniew Brzezinski? Is that all set up? You have to ask yourself, or did they just find out, look it up in the paper? Oh, they're having a meeting today. Because you know what? If the main head guy's having a meeting tomorrow down the street, I can find out what it is and I could be there, but I ain't going to get within 50 feet of his armored car to even hold a sign to say, deport Barry back to Kenya. Because that's my own opinion on the whole thing is you can't really do nothing but expose him, slap his hands, get him impeached, and, expose him for the murdering coward he is, not only as a war criminal, but against U.S. Army and soldiers for cutting their benefits and generally throwing the poor bastards under the bus. So that's my quick video, quote unquote, on who can you trust. Go out, make a video. Don't just sit around in a leaky house and do nothing. Do something. And I even think Painscourt does that. He says, get off your butt and do something.